everyone. This is Graham and I don't know what to call you guys. Usually I would call you my Friday nerds, but this is the crew. We are doing a one shot for you guys today. That is a homebrew campaign that I wrote myself. My name is Graham. You can find me at GrahamHall802 at Twitter or at the Saturday game at 11 o'clock to 2 at this time on Open for Adventure at the Half Right Here show. With me today is Jeremy. Give him a wave. Kari. Pharaoh. Jan. Amy. Riley. And a special shout out to Connor, who made this special event happen for doing tech for us. So, round of applause for Connor. For you all to be joining us for this charity live stream. Before we start, just wanted to say we appreciate all of you guys stopping by, and just, you guys are great. And it's for a great charity, so thanks for donating, all of you who have donated. And without further ado, it's summertime on the coast of Faerun. The warm breezes have been rolling in from the sea, and with the warm breezes comes a need for entertainment. Entertainment that Waterdeep is happy to supply. They have arranged for a meeting of all of the top bard bands in Faerun, ranging from Vrock and Roll, Anvil Levine, the Grateful Undead, and the Rolling Bones, to collaborate and join each other for one festivity of magical musical mayhem. Within the first few hours, there wasn't much movement around the site. A few wizards in robes had kind of shown up, but then it got crazy, and they began to cast spells, raising massive, multicolored tents, stages from the ground itself. They summoned seating in a large swath of about 3 football fields of space. And within minutes and hours, the stage was set. Now all that remained was the bands to arrive. And one by one, the bands did arrive, each having their own small tent to prepare, to store their gear, and to get themselves ready for what could only be the most exciting event that Sword Coast has ever seen. We join our heroes in a particularly fervid moment. The instruments have been set up for the most part on the stage, ready to go. The costumes have been prepared when Chick Jagger, a crow Kenku, strides in. Where's me pick? Where's me pick? Can't find me pick. Loot pick. Loot pick. Can't find my pick. Meeting! And with that, the bell has been rung. All of the roadies and help crew have been summoned. Jeremy, would you like to introduce your character and describe them?
Sure. I am playing Caden Single Dancer. He is a swashbuckling rogue, and he usually deals with sound. And yeah, he carries a rapier, and he's pretty strung out because he does fairy dust. So, my character.
Gary?
So I'm playing Davrin, a tiefling bard. He is got dark golden brown skin, gold eyes, and he is just wearing as much jewelry as one can possibly wear, but it's not exactly expensive stuff. He's he looks as good as possible while living on the budget of someone who only makes like 5 gold pieces in a month. And so he's got like glass beads, lesser stones and metals, braided leather. Beads are braided through his hair. And like he really wants to be in the band, but he's clearly not part of the band, and he takes care of their instruments. So he's standing by watching the fretting Kenku and secretly considering whether he might have taken the pick in one of his random kleptomaniac moments.
All right, and Pharaoh.
So I am playing Stan Voss, who's wearing some armor, but over it is a tabard with the symbol of rock and roll. And over that is an amulet, also with the symbol of rock and roll. And on their shield is a painted rock and roll symbol. And they bust in the door. They're like, "What's missing? We have to find it." And they throw their hair behind them, and it's glistening in the wind, and it's kind of sweaty because they were up all night with other roadies. But as one does.
Yeah. Got to party hard. Jan.
I'm playing Zevran. I am a incredibly short tiefling, pretty stout with like puffy cheeks, just like a kind of thing. My skin is somewhere between emerald and like snot green and like highlighter green, more so the gaudy. And he's just wearing green boots, green pants, green shirts. It's just everything's green. And his two horns kind of just like a ram, just whoop.
Very nice. Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy, and today I will be playing Emily Scabbard. And she has long, blonde, dreadlocked hair, like with little mini dreads. She always rocks some type of tie-dye t-shirt and brown pants. And she's kind of just the personal assistant for the band, and she worships them. And she's kind of twiggy looking, but anyway, she runs and she goes, "Oh, what's missing?" She totally worships the band. She's like, "What can I get for you guys? Anything, just let me know. I'm here for you."
Riley.
Yeah, Riley. I'm playing Butch Tusks. He's a half orc, but he looks like he's more than half orc. He's more orc than not orc. His two jutting lower tusks highlight his big handlebar mustache. He's wearing a tight black t-shirt and cut-off blue denim shorts. He's a former drummer who was kicked out of his band because he broke too many drum heads because he drums too hard. Now he's just kind of a general laborer, roadie, and works security for the bands.
So you all have gathered in this kind of a makeshift circle around this fretting Kenku. He's pacing in the center, and the other band members are kind of joining him. You have a dark, bearded dwarf striding in. He's got a tank top that is super close fitting. His hairy chest is just... And he's got little skull beads like tied into his beard, just haphazardly. They kind of jangle when he walks. And the other member of the band, another tiefling, who's bright red, horns that are almost not there. They just above a long black hair that's slick, goes about down to halfway down his arms. And he's dressed in very elegant, flamboyant purples and greens. Nothing matches on him. And he's kind of like rubbing his eyes, just like, whoa. And with you, one of the roadies that you guys do recognize that is pretty much the only roadie you're not playing is a elf named Sariel. She is blonde, about what you'd guess is about 200 years. I mean, none of you really know with elves, but you assume she's fairly young. But she's been with the band for as long as any of you can remember. She handles... Well, you really don't know what she handles. She's just always been there and kind of handles a wide array of tasks depending on what needs doing, whether it's mending clothes or assisting someone with pyrotechnics or casting thaumaturgy for a solo or something when like a enchantment or a dweemer kind of fails. And she's kind of standing there and she's chewing at her nails, kind of picking at it, as Chick Jagger just starts striding. Missing pick! Missing pick! Can't play! Missing pick! And he kind of walks up and around the circle looking at each one of you. And the dwarf walks up and he's like, what are you talking about? I know for a fact you had it last night when we were playing. Last pick! Last pick! Who took it? Ah! And the dwarf just kind of furrows his brows and like rubs the bridge of his nose. He may be nursing a few years of hangovers accumulated to this point. And he kind of looks to the tiefling for a moment for help, and he's like, what is this guy's deal? And the tiefling kind of he's like, somebody get me my coffee. Yeah?
Yes, sir. I'll go get you one. What type?
Most excellent. Two sugars? Yeah. 2 sugars would be delightful. Too sweet. Hurry it up. I can't be expected to get my own coffee, you know. My own brown morning potion, if you will. But
On my way.
oh, such a dear. Amelia, I think. Yeah. Such a dear Amelia. And they all kind of join in the center, and they kind of look you guys up and down, and the dwarf kind of pinches his brows, and he goes, all right. Good news is we've got 4 hours before we're going to play. That's 4 hours to locate the missing pick, because we all know Chick Jagger doesn't play unless he's got his pick. Right?
Right.
Points to Zabrin. Points to Davrin. Right?
What? Yeah, right. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We're all on the same page then, huh? I don't want a single stone unturned in this entire
Facility.
facility. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Oh man, I need an ale. All right, all of you 6, you're going to get to the bottom of this, and you're gonna find it, and you're gonna have it here before we go live on stage, or you can expect you're not coming with us when we leave. Am I understood?
Of course
Yeah.
you are.
Perfect. I'll be in my dressing room. Yeah.
Question. So, if for some unforeseen reason this pick is never found, what is the backup plan?
Well, it is going to be found. But let me put it to you this way. If Chick Jagger does not get his pick, then we're going to lose the Battle of the Bands. If we lose the Battle of the Bands, then the purse for 1,000 gold doesn't end up in our pockets. And you know what? I'd rather spit on me ancestor's grave than let Anvil Levine win.
I mean, just hear me out. What if, for say, there was another talented individual who could also play Chick Jagger's parts? Just hypothetically.
The tiefling speaks up. Another instrumentalist that can play like Chick Jagger?
Yeah.
Highly unlikely. I don't really he's the best. That's why he's in the band. I'm sure if there was someone who could like play equivalent to him, they'd already be in a really popular band and they would already be invited here. So, enough with the stupid questions, and let's get it rolling.
No one wants to hear you play anyway.
Now, where's now
Shut
where
up,
is my
Stan. No one asked you.
where's my coffee? I
Back
feel
with your
like I've been
coffee,
waiting here.
sir.
I feel like I've been waiting like at least a good solid 2 minutes.
Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you.
You could stop crowding me. That'd be really good.
Away I go.
Oh, that's what a dear, what a dear. Thanks, Amelia. All right. I'm not going to like call you by names because, quite frankly, I don't remember your names and I don't really care. So, I'm gonna need you 6 right there. You're gonna find the pick. Chick Jagger's gonna stop squawking about it. We're gonna play. You're all gonna get paid, and then I'm going to relax for the rest of the day before we go on in my changing room. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
You got it.
Fantastic.
Right on.
No, that's about it. What? You work out how you're going to find it. I'm going. This is too much for me. I need to save my voice. I've been talking too much. Alright, bye. And he just kind of walks off. He kind of grabs Chick Jagger by the shoulder, and they both walk off together, as well as the dwarf following behind. The dwarf, who is still nestling his hangover. Nest Love is just so tired. And you almost see him, like, fall into the doorway as they're exiting the tent. And they're out of view. And you're left with yourselves and almost no clues for the moment to go off of. What do you do?
All right, I need someone to find me a forked twig, and I'm going to prepare locate object, and we're going to find this and save the Battle of the Bands.
Which
Cool.
one of you stole the pick?
Not a look. We're not going to talk about that. No one stole it, and if it was probably Davrin. But right now, I need someone. Right now, I need someone to find me a forked twig. Okay.
I'm on it. And she runs off and gets to the woods and gets one. Here you go.
Davin just stands there with his arm folded, looking offended, because if he was going to steal anything, it would be something worthwhile, not a stupid thing that he doesn't even need to play.
Butch is giving you the ocular pat down right now.
Yeah. So if you're going to get a stick, it will take you probably about 15 minutes to kind of exit the tent, exit the performance area, and then head to the woods. But I'm not even gonna make you roll because I think finding a stick on the ground is probably the easiest thing anyone can do.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Stan will prepare their locate object spell.
Sure, and you are casting locate object on this, and I believe it needs to be within 1,000 feet of you, correct?
Correct.
That's a big
So you receive this forked twig. You do need to maintain concentration for up to 10 minutes for the spell. Would you say that you're familiar with this? I know that you kind of worship rock and roll, so
I worship rock and roll. I worship rock and roll. I worship Chick Jagger, and I worship that pick.
okay. So I would say you're very familiar with this pick. It's a green, eldritch colored pick with a single skull emblazoned upon it. That glows with an almost unholy light when it hits the edge to his electric lute. And it produces everything from the cries of a banshee to the wail of a siren.
It is, in fact, the holy object of my religion.
Exactly. Like, it draws the very cries from hell into musical notes to bless the bless the audience with their most righteous power. So yeah, I would say you you cast a spell, and you feel your spell go off. You've cast the spell before to find like minor items that the band has lost. Everything from like that time they lost a scarf to like that time their favorite necklace was missing, and you were like, yeah, I know where that is, or I can find that. But for some reason, your spell fizzles. You feel your spell go off, and then almost like a magical force of equal or greater power prevents you from scrying or locating this object. And you feel like your spell worked, and then immediately the power of rock is gone.
Did you find it?
Stana like shakes as they sputter out of their concentrated state. They're like, no, it's been stolen and it's hidden behind some magical force. This is the worst. The day is gonna go so poorly. We're not gonna sell any merchandise. Chick Jagger's gonna be so upset.
You need to calm down, okay? This doesn't really change anything, but it does sort of change things in the sense that now we've got to be sly, and now we definitely know it's probably one of the other bands that stole it, or maybe those like wizards that were wandering around setting up this place. So we got some leads. What is our number one competition here?
Angeline?
I might be able to help with that. You look over and you see the elf. She's still standing there, like, yeah, she's still nibbling on her fingernails, and she's like, well, I mean, obviously, if it was stolen by another band, I mean, objectively, Anvil Levine, Grateful Undead, or the Rolling Bones, all three of them have had grudges for like ever with rock and roll. They have been competing for the past like 4 seasons and have never won.
Well, I say we start knocking heads till we find out who took it.
We can't just assault band members. We'll get kicked out of here quicker than anything, and then we'll never be allowed back, and then rock and roll will never be allowed back.
Well,
All things we can't.
maybe not assault, but just knock their head for some information.
Yeah, I don't just a gentle beatdown.
Yeah,
Do any of you know the meaning of subtlety?
No.
Never heard the word.
What's that?
It's listen to me and let me handle some of this, okay? Like, this is definitely my realm of expertise. But we'll definitely have to create a list. So who do we want to shake down first? Anvil Levine, the Grateful Undead, or the Rolling Bones?
Yes.
Let's do that in that order.
All right.
And Anvil Levine seems to be the main sore.
Yeah, that is the one that our good friend mentioned first. So strongest lead. Where's their tent? Sally? He is deliberately getting Sariel's name wrong because he doesn't remember what it is ever.
Can you repeat that?
Where's Anvil Levine's tent?
Give me a second. I know this. Come on, you know this. It is in the northernmost part. It's kind of like a square, like a diamond. I mean, yeah. Like the performance stage is in the center. It's a diamond. All 4 bands have a corner with all their stuff and all their performance areas. They are on the northernmost. We're on the westernmost. And then if you go to the southern, that would be the Rolling Bones. And if you go to the far east, that would be the Grateful Undead.
Oh, then that makes sense. We can just go in a circle. So we'll start with Anvil Levine and just circle around.
All right. Onward.
Well, good luck. I'm going to be here.
Okay.
You do that, Sandra.
And she like waves you off, and she kind of just walks around. You don't like I said, you guys really don't know what she does. She's just kind of like puttering around like this backstage area, just moseying. And are you guys heading straight north to the Anvil Levine?
Yeah, Davern's sauntering, but yes.
Okay. So you get through fairly unhassled, but as you're walking through, you see lines and lines and lines of chairs and magical cushions that float above the ground. There's glowing lights of like what you would associate with like dancing lights or with what is it called? Fairy fire. Glowing in the middle of the air, dancing, interchanging colors, just kind of right above your heads. It's not a physical item, but they all are kind of pre-programmed. So you figure that one of the mages that's here is testing out the spell to kind of trigger it up once the concert begins in earnest in about 4 hours. And you make your way there. There are other security guards around, kind of moseying around. You see 2 large Goliaths, both with bald heads, heavily tattooed. They've got like metal studded chokers, and one has like a lip ring that also is attached to an ear piercing with like a chain. And they kind of look at you guys as you get close to Anvil Levine's tent, and one of them goes, "What's your business? Sup?"
We just want to, what's the term? Chat and see how everything's going with the competition coming up.
He looks to his partner. Yeah, Jerry's the name on the list. No, Greg, their name's not on the list.
My
You
name
didn't even ask us our names. I feel like that's
I know, they didn't even
point
look.
of order.
It's a full disclosure, they didn't even look at the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm assuming at least one of you is, like, wearing rock and roll
well,
paraphernalia. So, like, they, like, look at you and, like, immediately are, like, whole group coming together. If one of you would like to make a, deception or a persuasion check.
yes.
All right,
I would like to make a stealth roll to sneak away from the group.
Okay, we'll do it in this order. You're going to be at disadvantage to make the stealth roll because they can see you.
Oh wait, if I'm doing it while he's distracting them.
I mean, that's true. We'll do it this way. Make your persuasion check. Based on that roll will be what the DC is going to be for the stealth roll.
Sounds good.
I think that sounds fair.
Okay. So Stan starts talking and saying, oh yeah, no, like this, I went to the wrong area and I supported them last year, but this year I'm here for Anvil Levine and I wanted to get some new merchandise. And okay, and so then I'm gonna roll. I got a 13.
13. Okay. Gary and Jerry look at each other and look down to you. Look at each other. And then Gary leans over and goes, "Hey, Jerry. Yeah? They paying you to guard? Oh, I thought you were getting paid. Huh. Well, yeah, we can get you some merchandise. But one of us is gonna need to be with you while you're going backstage. I mean, I can't tell you that you can talk to Anvil Levine, like she's probably rehearsing. But I know a guy who can get you some primo t-shirts.
Like, yeah, like where do you guys source your t-shirts?
Luskin.
Wow.
Oh yeah, cheap labor.
Such good fabric there.
Heck yeah, sister. And then Jerry's like, "What? I don't get a high five?" He's like, "Oh, I got one for you too." They high five you, and then they like hold their hands out. They're like, "High five, and away we go, my dudes."
Yeah, and Santa goes with them to go geek out over the t-shirts.
Yeah. And, I mean, they're going to be taking all of you. Now
Okay.
let's roll your stealth roll because you wanted to sneak away.
Yeah, 20, but not a natural 20. That's 14 plus the stealth.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
If possible, I
you-
probably would have joined
Oh,
Devran
okay,
if I saw them
you're
sneaking
doing,
away.
yeah, describe how the two of you are sneaking away. I'd like to paint
Alright,
me a
so,
picture with your words.
as Stan is high-fiving and taking all their attention, Davrin is falling to the back of the group and subtly moving farther and farther out of the Goliath's peripheral vision until he can just duck behind a tent and fully crouch down and use cover to snoop away. He looks very practiced at this. In fact, oddly practiced at this.
I would have probably started stepping away in a similar sense, and I probably would have passed message to whichever one of the two looks dumber, and try to be like, "Hey, Miss Levine needs you to now." And the second they try to go "Oh, what?" I'll just kind of try to duck away as fast as I can.
Yeah, you guys, you feel very comfortable that you were able to kind of separate yourself from the group without being overtly noticed. Jerry and Gary seem preoccupied with the high fives enough that they don't notice you. And you feel very confident in that as you kind of separate away, kind of like Homer Simpson into the hedge maze, into the crowd. And you guys kind of circumvent. The tent is large. It's probably about 150 feet by 90 feet. It's magical in nature. It has only one entrance, and you would know that functions kind of like Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion, in that entrance is really just the entrance to a demiplane that they've created. So you understand that it's the only one way in, but once you're in, it's a vast kind of interior. I'm gonna cover with you guys after I go with them. So the rest of the group, you follow Gary and Jerry in, or Jerry and Barry. You can't really remember which. But they lead you into this entrance, and it's a vast, sprawling interior, decorated with a lot of rock paraphernalia. You see a bass guitar that's also a double-bladed axe, hanging on a shelf that's covered in glass. You see a sword that has a harmonica into the handle, and all sorts of musical weaponry, like a tambourine that's also a punching weapon, like a guitar. And it's a little odd, but you're like, that's pretty righteous, Sometimes you gotta fight on the road. And they lead you in, and there's a bunch of boxes and a gnome sitting atop them. He's got a sprightly beard, and two large, wide brimmed glasses kind of hang above the crook of his nose. And he's kind of looking over the boxes and counting them up. They're unopened, but as you're approaching, he kind of opens up one, and you see a significant amount of paraphernalia, and he kind of waves his hands and mutters an incantation, and they start lifting and folding and slowly moving up out of the box through the air towards another person who's kind of setting up a stall. They kind of have a wand in their hand, they wave it around, and poof, you see a burst of smoke, and then Jim's magnificent merchandise just pops up. It's a full stall. It unfolds and opens up, and all of the clothing items are being stacked in their appropriate things, while this gnome is just waving his hand, bored out of his mind. He's like, 4 years of college for this. Whoopee. And Gary and Jerry kind of go, yes? Can I... Oh! We have customers! Hello! You must be... VIP?
Of course.
Don't we look it? Look, we need some new t-shirts to get us through the day. We are here to support Anvil Levine.
Well, yeah, best in the business. Obviously, you're gonna support her. Like, support your artist. Don't pirate
I
their music.
know.
And he goes, "Hey, Jim!" And he's like hollering off to the side. You like look away for a second, and like maybe like 3 or 4 seconds pass as you're looking, and then he casts a spell, and then a mirror image of him goes over to the thing. You're perceptive enough to know that he's just trying to like show off that he can cast spells. He's like, finally, I get to cast something above level 1. Like, and his mirror image like walks over to the Jim's merchandise. He goes, "Ah, hey, how can I help ya? What are you looking to buy? What are you looking to sell? What are you looking to have? I've got anything from hats, glasses, got t-shirts. I've also got jewelry. What can I do for you?"
I wanted to see your sweet Luskin t-shirts and maybe like a cap. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a Satyr Boy on this t-shirt. You know the lyrics. He was a satyr boy. I said, "See you later, boy." Could it be any more obvious? That's my favorite song. Feywild,
Such
right?
a classic.
I know. Underappreciated. And he's like, "I've got that on t-shirt. I've also got, let's see. I fell in love with the tiefling. And I have, let's see, what else do I have that I've unboxed today? That's about all I've got today. I had more, but Luskin, when you outsource to Luskin, and then some of your supplies don't reach you.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna need an extra large satyr boy for my friend here, and Stan thumbs up at the half orc.
Huh?
Yeah. That'll be 2 gold.
Oh shit. Guys. And Stan looks around and looks down in their pockets, and they're like, "What about? Could we like talk that price down? Like, I know it's Luskin, but
I wouldn't pay 2 gold for
uh,
an Anvil Levine shirt if you paid me 2 gold to pay 2 gold.
so ignore him, okay? We really need that shirt."
What about you, silent one in the back? Yeah, you.
Me?
Both of you.
Huh?
2 gold.
Oh, I'm their personal assistant. I'm here to support them. But if they need anything, I'm here for them.
Yes, we're quite rich, and we can afford personal assistance.
Are the shirts like right there in front of us?
Yeah.
While they were talking, would Kaden, what's my name? Kaden been able to do a sleight of hand to nick one of these shirts?
Oh, wow. Yeah, roll me sleight of hand. We'll see how that goes.
Oh no.
I have to switch my dice because I don't trust the dice I've been rolling. Okay. What'd you get?
16.
Okay. So as your half-orc companion is going, "I wouldn't pay 2 gold for that shirt. I wouldn't even get that shirt, even if I was being paid 2 gold to get that 2 gold shirt." As he's saying this, you see the gnome kind of bristle. But you remember it's a illusion of the gnome who's standing over there, still facing the boxes and waving his mage hand to like get all these shirts over here. And you just kind of reach out and like, what are you wearing? Are you wearing like a sweatshirt? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing very styled, tight clothing as rockers normally do. But I do have a very large, I guess you could say, trench cloak.
Okay, so you just
that
like
I-
open your trench coat and like grab a shirt, and, like put it in,
Yeah,
and very inconspicuous
very good.
at that. and you feel fairly confident that like he didn't notice. How could he,
Of
right?
course not. This is all just an illusion to me. I'm still pretty strung out. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you take just one shirt, or do you take more than one?
I probably took just a very large shirt. I'm not sure how many I'd be able to quickly stuff in my trench cloak as quickly as all that.
I'll say you grabbed a hat, a shirt, and a pair of socks.
Cool.
And
Gotta have them socks.
yeah, and you kind of like stuff them in. Meanwhile, as all of you are finagling and stealing and robbing this guy, what are Davrin and Zevran doing?
So we both snuck into the tent. Is it the same tent that the rest of them went into?
Yes, I think so.
Where are we in relation to?
So you have the main tent, which is the Anvil Levine tent. They have walked in. It's all one entrance, which is a magical entrance, into the demiplane, which is the interior, so they can have like wood floors if they wanted. So you can walk in that one entrance, and then they kind of went to the right, like inner right. You guys could definitely go like in and sneak to the left.
Yeah, so that's what we did, using whatever's at hand to like block our view. Conveniently, those crates.
Yeah.
And Davern would just like pause a moment undercover to like whisper with Zevran like plan of attack here of how we're gonna go about. Okay, so we're looking for the pick. It's small, it's green, it's spooky. He searches his mind for the other like qualities of this pick and relays them. I'm betting that if we're gonna find it, it's going to be in the band's personal stuff, something that's more secure, etc. So we're gonna have to be really careful about this, okay? Like, how do you have much experience with this? I don't remember.
Well, if you mean experience with musical folks of sorts, no. If you mean going in places I'm not supposed to, then yes. But if anyone asks, then no.
Correct. All right, good. We're both on the same page because, like, samesies.
Okay, cool. And maybe it might be in Anvil Levine's dressing room?
All right.
I feel like that would be
there.
the very climactic result of all this.
The climactic result will be it's in the last place we look, but that's the most unhelpful advice anyone ever gave anyone looking for things. So, let's go. Dressing room.
All right, yeah. We try to make our way to the dressing room. Stealthily.
Yep. So I'm going to let your previous stealth roll through this until I decide otherwise. Roll me a survival check, because I think since you're unfamiliar with this terrain, I think a survival check would make sense for like an urban setting of like trying to navigate your way to the dressing rooms the correct dressing room.
The both of us?
It probably has a name, but
the both of us, or?
Yeah, one of you roll, and
I got a 17.
What'd you get, Jan?
7.
We're rolling with Jan because we're rolling with your stealth.
Wait,
are we? Oh, my stealth and his survival.
Yeah. Okay. Then 7.
So, yeah, that's how I'm going to approach it. Is that way it evens out.
Got it.
So you begin to sneak away. You see other roadies kind of like carrying boxes and kind of doing last minute preparations to costumes. Like some are sewing up outfits, others are packing like what you can imagine to be like dust into like canisters, like small round canisters, and you don't really know why, but they're kind of like packing it tight, shaking it, hearing it, and then like moving it aside. There's like a stack of maybe like 20 or so over to the right, and you continue going, and this is a pretty substantially large tent interior than what you would have figured from just a regular tent. But given that you understand that it is a magical interior, you understand that it could be much larger than the actual area of the tent itself. And you continue on. You are led down a hallway, which is a little weird because it literally looks like the inside of a tent is like grass underneath your feet, and then like a wooden hallway that you would find in a building just starts out of nowhere. Like someone unimaginative created this spell for the demiplane. It was like, yeah, there should probably be a hallway there. And
Sure,
like didn't
makes
know
sense,
how to
yeah.
like connect it to everything else. It was just like out of place. And you assume that's probably where the changing rooms and like where the stuff is, and you continue down it. And then it branches off into like 9 directions.
Do we
At like
see anyone
weird
there?
angles. Like we're talking like 3-degree angle, 9-degree angle, 15-degree angle. Some going up like vertically, like stairs above.
Davern makes the comment someone was clearly on fairy dust when they cast this spell.
What kind of Harry Potter ass shit? Is there? Do we see anyone at all? Like amidst the hallway benches that we can see?
You actually don't.
Are there any doors that look like there's someone in there, perhaps?
Yeah. So there is a door to your left, that is slightly ajar.
Okay.
You can kind of peek in and get like you see a individual just sitting there, facing
Okay.
away from you, not saying anything. It doesn't look like they're having a discussion or anything. They're just sitting there like on the floor.
Okay. DM question. Do I know what Anvil Levine looks like?
Roll me a history check.
Oh, okay. 20.
You know so much about Anvil Levine. She is the most popular female dwarven rocker girl. She has a long, lustrous beard that she combs back. Very popular among dwarves. Let's not be judgmental. And very nice beard. She has slick back hair and typically rocks an avant-garde, in-your-face style type of music. She's got a bit of a sturdier build, and knowing what you know, the figure that's sitting there is not a dwarf.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to Davrin and whisper and say, maybe if Miss Levine entered the door and asked to be seen to her dressing room, we could make our way there. If you catch my drift.
I see.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Disguise Self. I'm gonna make myself look like Miss Levine. And I'm gonna like, with like as much like sass and like I don't have enough time for this shit attitude as I can muster. I'm just gonna kind of like lean to like towards the doorway and just like swing the thing wide open and just like look at the person and not say a word until they turn to me.
Yeah, so as you take a look, you see a human. He's kind of balding at the top of his head, very thin, what was once brown hair but has now long grayed. He's kind of sitting there. It looks almost like he's meditating. And as you approach, he just goes, "Who is it?"
Who do you think it is?
"Anvil, is that you?
Is there
What are
another
you
anvil that
doing?
you're aware of?
You were supposed to be practicing a new song."
Yes, and I can't be bothered to make sense of this ridiculous layout in this tent, and there's no one around for some reason, and my assistant doesn't know what's going on. So,
Well,
can someone show me to my dressing room, please?
Well, I'm sorry that I drank before I cast a spell. And he kind of raises unsteadily to his feet. All right, I'll show you to your room. Again,
Thank you.
and then we're practicing. Practicing the singing of the songs that you sing.
Yes, and I will do that once I make my way to the dressing room.
Yeah. And he kind of walks up and he's like, "You look more... Did you grow your beard out?"
A little bit, yes. A little bit of an enchantment on it for the competition. Thank you for noticing.
Oh, it looks nice.
Thank you. Of course it looks nice.
I had a beard once.
Really?
It fell off.
Oh, well.
All at once. Terrible accident. I was casting
There are spells for
spells.
that, you know?
What? Who are you?
No questions, please. Do not speak to her. Carry on.
And he pauses for a second, as if like trying to like. He's like, something is weird, and then he's like, I'm probably still drunk, and he just stands up and leads you guys down the corridor. You take a left, and kind of like is a spiral walkway going up to a second level. And you see kind of like the drummer that nobody knows their name. You see the guitarist, nobody knows their name. I mean, you wouldn't recognize it, but you can assume they're the other band members that aren't Anvil Levine. And he goes to the Anvil Levine room that has like a gold star and it says Anvil Levine.
Once the room is in sight and I can tell it's the room, I'm just gonna stop cold and just be like, thank you. That's all. And I'll just look him dead in the eye with a very like, you're dismissed kind of look.
I don't remember how to get back to my room.
Well, half the fun is the adventure, right?
Okay.
Maybe think about that next time you drink and spell.
I still don't know who you are. I'm going to call you Jessica. You look
Sounds
like a
good.
Jessica to me.
Yes, well, Jessica and I have a lot of practicing to do.
That was a joke. It's clearly a man. I'm not that drunk.
Excuse you. My name and my appearance are not up for conversation.
You're right. Gender is a construct and I am the problem. I'm old and
Precisely.
things are complicated.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes.
Well, have a good day. I will see you later at the performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
He kind of starts like wobbling his way down back the way you came. You're not very certain he's going to get back where he wants to go. Like, I'd put it at like a 40-60. He might never show up again.
Well, we got what we wanted, so okay.
He's gonna learn his lesson. He's gonna learn today. This is why you don't drink and spell.
Yeah, someone should have gone to architecture school.
And meanwhile, at the t-shirts, because I think that's probably semi-reasonable time.
Mhm.
You have one of you has just stolen some t-shirt paraphernalia, and you're currently debating and not saying if you're willing to pay for the shirts. What do you guys do?
Yeah, I'm Stan Voss is trying to talk them down to a lower price, like maybe like 2 for 1. Because we need the double X for our orc friend, and then I need one, and that needs to be like at least a large or an extra large to fit these guns or these crossbows. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
These crossbows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, seeing as you're such good fans, I mean, I'm not really sure about the half orc.
I'm not a fan.
He's coming around to it. Okay, give him some time.
He does not look like he's coming around to it at all.
No, not at all.
I will talk him into it.
Will you though?
No.
Okay. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
Pay 2 gold. I'll give you 2 shirts, just not for the half orc.
Deal.
Okay. Fine, I guess. Okay, so what's your size, love? And Stan turns to Amy's character. What's your character's name?
Emily.
Emily turns to Emily. He's like, okay, what's your size? You're what? You're a medium? Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Oh, and I have your money right here. So here's the 2 gold for you.
Oh, thank you. You can give it to the other me that's over there.
Ah, okay. So she walks over and goes, here's your 2 gold.
Oh, thank you. Pretty nifty spell, right?
Yeah, it's very neat.
It's so impressive.
I know.
Honestly, I just think Anvil Levine, all your crew, it's just awesome.
Well, thank you. But you guys really need to get out of here. I mean, I understand you guys are VIP, but we're still kind of fixing everything and getting ready for tonight. Sometimes fights break out. I really don't want you to get involved in that.
Fights.
Yeah.
Shh.
Like a mosh pit?
Mosh
Like
pit.
Weapons?
There's mosh pits at Anvil Levine concerts?
Well, yeah.
Can I get a t-shirt?
You got 2 gold?
Yeah. Thank you.
He gives you a t-shirt. Yeah, now I have to
All
look
you have
in
to do is
combat
promise some
encounters with,
violence.
like 16-year-old elves.
Quick turnaround on that.
Okay, we'll rejoin up top. So you're outside of the Anvil Levine dressing room.
I will admit this went off without a hitch, but I don't really know what to do from here. Could we? Do I see like a light on like the bottom gap of the door?
Yes.
Shit. Can I like walk up to the door and see if I can like hear if anyone's in there? Do the whole like cup in the wall thing?
Yeah. Roll a perception check.
8.
8. You cannot tell if someone's in there.
Davern's probably also listening.
I mean, he is, but he's also like looking around the hallway. Where were the other band members? Like, approximately as we were passing them. Do they also have name tags on their doors?
Yeah. I don't know the actual names of the band.
Yeah, they're unimportant, but they have names on the doors.
Yeah.
right?
So let's see. Off the top of my head, you have John Lemon. You have Paul McCourtney. And you have Dingo. It has a star around the name Dingo.
Good. Okay. And they were all in their rooms, right?
I don't know. What did your perception check equate to?
I don't know. I can roll perception as well.
Okay. Yep.
11.
I don't know if they're there. You don't know if they're there. The light's on.
Well, I'm going to turn to Zevran and say, well, the old guy seemed pretty convinced that they were all in rehearsal, so
Yeah.
I say walk in and hope for the best.
Okay. Should I keep the I wonder if Anvil meets Anvil. Oh, I'll just say that I'm the clone from Brazil or whatever.
Oh no, just say that you're here for security and you're just running security. So
oh yeah, I'm like a decoy, like a stunt double or something like that. I'm the stunt double. Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm just gonna like very gently open the door and see if I can open it like a crack and see if anything's in there.
Yeah, roll me a stealth check.
Okay. That I have a good bonus for. Okay, where is it? 24.
You open the door and Anvil Levine is facing a mirror. She's like sitting at a desk, facing a mirror that's shining back, and she's kind of combing her beard. And she's like sounding out lyrics from what you can hear slightly. Like she's like, "Hey, you, I don't like your mer friend."
Do you see the pic?
Do I see the pic? Can I try to like?
You don't see the pic from where you are. But with how much you cracked it, you can only see a small percentage of the room, but you can see that Anvil Levine is sitting there in the room, and she's at like a dresser.
How big is the room, and how far away is she from?
I would say the room is about 20 feet wide by maybe like 20 by 20, or 20 by 25.
And she's like at the mirror brushing
Yeah.
everything, like you said. Is there like what else is around her by chance?
Oh yeah, she has some jewelry boxes with like dwarven jewelry, like ranging from beard braids to rings to some necklaces. She has some earrings that are like ornate in dwarven style. They're like carved from almost like from living rock that seems to like shift and change its form. So like sometimes like Maori style, which are like bone earrings. At one, like you see it on the shelf. She's not wearing it at the moment, but you see like it's a Maori like kind of hook, and then it kind of swirls into a circular like indented like cone, and then it kind of changes into a skull, and then it's just going through like random forms every like 10-15 seconds.
Okay.
And then there's like a large clothing dresser to the side. Yes.
Can I cast Prestidigitation and make a very foul odor appear to just emanate from Avril's room?
Yeah, roll me well actually you don't have to roll for a cantrip. Yeah, I mean she like sniffs and she's like, "Oh. What was that? Smells like home." And then she lets out like a large belch.
Darren's like, God, I hate dwarves.
Yeah. I'm
Light something on fire.
Oh, are there any like torches in the room at all?
Yeah, there's an overhanging torch above like on the ceiling that's like kind of tied to a metal cable kind of hanging there. It's a open face lantern.
Okay. I'm hold on, let me read what a spell does super quick. Okay. I'm going to cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
And I'm going to have it grab the brush from her
that she's combing her beard with, so like tangle it up in her beard and like
yeah, just kind of like snatch it out of her.
Okay.
And mind you, the hand's invisible because the feet thing, and I'm gonna see if I can make it like float up towards the what's it called, the little like fire torch thing that's in the air, and I'll do a control flames and make it just like super big and green and just like kind of go nuts and make it look like it's burning in there or something.
So are you trying to catch your beard on fire? Or...
No. I just want to take the brush out of her hand and try to like throw it in there. I don't know. I want to freak her out or something. I need her out of this room.
Okay. I was like, if it's still connected to your beard, we can just connect your beard.
No. I'm not trying to final destination this.
So you kind of cast Mage Hand and you feel the brush. Like she's a fairly strong 160-year-old dwarf. And you feel the tug, and she kind of relinquishes it almost too easily. And the brush goes flying into the lantern. And because you had a little bit, you expected more resistance originally, it smashes the glass of the lantern, and just the entire lantern, like shards of glass, wax, a little bit of flame, like falls to the floor, and she lets out a horrified shriek.
Yeah, big green as soon as it lands, just nuts.
Whoosh, and she bolts for the door. Unfortunately, you're also at the door. I'd like a dex save just so you can get out before she barrels into you guys.
Oh, okay. 17.
I got a... What is it? I got a 16.
16. Okay, that is sufficient. Okay, so you guys see this green flame erupt from the spell, and you hear that horrified shriek, and you go, "Oh no, there's only one exit to that room, and we're literally peeping in there." And you kind of both like hide like Scooby-Doo style behind like one on either side of the door, and it like barrels open and like probably smacks one of you like by the feet.
I
And she's
volunteer
like,
to be the one smacked.
okay, yeah, smacks your feet, and she just comes barreling out and runs down the hall, and she's like, "Someone get in my dressing room and set that fire out!"
As soon as
And,
she's gone, I'm just like, go, and just run in and like comb through the place as fast as we can.
Yeah, like a SWAT team.
Dagrid is like on it as if he was responding to her.
Perfect. Roll me a investigation check, both of you, and keep that result. I will get to you guys in a second. I'm gonna go back to the t-shirt crew.
All right.
So we had just bought a t-shirt and stolen t-shirts. What are you guys doing? Would you be leaving, or actually, I think at this point you hear fire, fire in the dressing rooms, help!
No.
Stan Voss is pulling his new Satyr Boy t-shirt on as these cries start going up. He's like, "A fire in Anvil Levine's tent!" And so he starts barreling in that direction. I think assuming that, as everything, this must be Davrin's fault. So
Jerry and Gary both go with you guys. They are not.
Oh no.
So they're
Damn
on
it.
like either side of any of you guys running. They're like, "Fire! I'm on it, Gary! Fire!" And he's like, "I got you, Jerry."
Santa tries to get a high five as he's going in.
Yeah. Gary gives you a high five. Jerry leaves you hanging.
That dude. I'm gonna remember that. Okay. So Sam's just running in. I don't know if you three are.
Do we cross paths with Anvil Levine?
You haven't yet.
All right. If we do, Caden's gonna hang with her.
Okay.
Also, as we're running, he puts on the hat.
Oh, yeah, I went to the Waterdeep Battle of the Bands and all I got was this stupid hat.
Yeah.
It's a throwback to the first episode of Half Rate Heroes. But yeah, so you like throw on the hat that you have stashed in your trench coat that you pilfered, and you just kind of, it's a nice fit. You didn't expect this quality from Luskin, but it's pretty good. And you're like running by. Jerry and Gary are on either side of your group as you run up these hallways, and right where it comes to that 9 point hallway, you see an old man wobbling down this almost vertical staircase. He's like, "I think I'm almost to my room." And as he's saying that, you see Anvil Levine just barrel this guy over. Like flat on his face, he just slides like 2 feet down towards you. He's like, "It's okay. I've made armor on. Never mind. I don't." And she like looks at you guys and she's like, "What are you all doing here? This is there's a fire."
Andrew,
I know we heard there was a fire. We're trying to help.
this might not be the right time, but could I get your autograph?
Do you have anything do you have like a pen, a quill, anything? What
I
weapon
don't
do you
know.
have?
Yeah,
A
blood.
club.
Okay. Anvil Levine is metal as heck. So you're pretty tall, right?
Yeah.
Okay. With dexterity that you would not suspect from a dwarf, she plants a leg on your like knee and kind of forces it down to like almost a kneeling position and headbutts you. And like, but when it headbutts you, you have like a Anvil Levine headbutt scar that like everyone knows you got it from Anvil Levine. I'm not going to explain the magic to you, but it's like symbol would be the spell.
I'm just stunned right now. That was amazing.
And she's like, anything for a fan. Now, please, will someone set the fire out from my room? I kind of need it. Also, it's green.
Val.
And Jerry and Gary are like, yep. Gary, we got this. Yeah, we got this. All right, we're going. Nice to meet you, by the way. Yeah, nice to meet you. And they kind of escort all of you up.
Mm-hmm.
And Zevran and Davrin, what were those investigation rolls?
18.
9.
An 18. Okay. Zevran, you focus your search primarily on the dressing closet, which is primarily outfits for the show, as well as like she has like a battle axe hanging from a hanger. You don't really know why, but it's kind of cool and interesting. But that's the only interesting thing you really find in that dressing closet is outfits and a battle axe. And Davrin, you're searching, I'm assuming, primarily around the jewelry box.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured as much. How did I guess? So you quickly unlatch her jewelry box. It has the earrings right next to it. It has several gold and like mithril necklaces and like chokers studded with mithril. It has some like elven filigree laying about, as well as a dwarven rune like dice. It's just one die, and it's dwarven runed on all sides. Besides that, you don't find the pick. Is
cool. He chooses something that looks like her least favorite thing, something that she's least likely to notice missing until like probably more weeks later because she doesn't wear it. So, and he snatches that and just shoves it in a pocket.
You do so. You just grab it, snatch it, throw it in, and at this time, the rest of your party kind of joins up, and the flame is still going, but it's not as large now that you're not really manipulating it. I'm assuming you're muted.
Yeah.
I probably would have let it just do what it does.
Okay, so it's still going a little bit, but not like catching the room on fire. It's more like staying within the wax.
Right.
And it's like barely a candle. Yes.
As Davern would hear like sounds coming towards the room, he'd like step on the flame to make it look like he was trying to put it out.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So are you guys like feigning stepping on, like missing it purposely so it stays, or like?
At least until someone is coming through the door and can like see what's happening, then it will be like a purposeful stomp of like, yeah, we got it all.
Yeah. Same.
Are you maintaining your illusion?
Mm.
I'll give you 5 seconds.
No.
Okay, so the illusion drops right as Gary and Jerry and the rest of your party barrel in. Where's the fire? Where's the fire? Oh.
We got it.
Yeah, just you know, it's good. We heard the screams, we came running.
Let me roll real quick. What? No. You all don't know each other, right?
No.
I don't know. I've never seen these people in my life. Who are they?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I don't associate with tieflings.
Okay. I'll admit, I was just trying to get an autograph, and then she was running. There was a fire, so I don't know.
I got an autograph. It was awesome.
Really? Oh shit! That's
Look
wow.
at his forehead.
Yeah,
Wow,
you see like a blue glowing symbol where she headbutted. That's just like a picture of Anvil Levine, like thumbs upping.
Yeah.
That's pretty metal.
Did that
I'm
hurt?
never washing my forehead again. I never did anyway, but
I
never
was-
again.
So cool.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, we're done here.
We're done here.
Yeah,
I thought it's all around. Good job, guys. And, like they
Great
just go
job.
down the line, like high-fiving all of you, and they're like, "Yeah, we did it. Luckily, we had these VIP guys here. They didn't do anything, but we did it.
Very impressive people.
Yeah. After the show, you guys should drink with us. We've got a couple of bottles of Fey wine in the back.
Hey.
Sure.
I like the bubbles in them.
Do you think we should check the other dressing rooms just to make sure there's no more fire hazards around?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There seems to be some kind of weird fluke going on with this magic tent.
No. We don't look in there. They are mean.
What if we just ask?
So, what if they
Would
were
they
all
rather
mean
be
and
like on fire?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just realizing this, that Jerry and I are here and no one's watching the front.
Yeah, so maybe.
So we're gonna kind of have to escort you guys out. You
Okay.
know, fire, heightened security.
But what if we help you? You go to the front, we stay here, check the fire, we leave immediately.
I'll do you one better. You find out who started the fire from the outside. We'll settle it on the inside. So we'll escort you out. You guys is to the ground. Help us out. Then we'll help you.
Can I roll a persuade?
Yeah.
Do you think you could get us tickets for the show later?
Yeah. You don't even
All
have to roll
right,
for that.
all right. My persuade is a 15 plus 5, 20, and I say, really, it's just, I don't know you guys, but I'm really experienced with this. I mean, clearly, I was able to help with this fire. Just let me ask them. It saves you the hassle, saves you face with these guys. You say they're pretty mean. This way, they won't be mean to you. They'll be mean to some schmuck like me. And I promise we'll be out of your hair as soon as we're done checking.
So you see Gary and Jerry kind of look at each other, and like, you can see that they personally don't mind, but this is their job. And even though, well, I guess they're not being paid for their services, but they also are super passionate about the band Anvil Levine, and they kind of like, their shoulders kind of lax, almost dejectedly, and they go, and Jerry goes, look, I like you guys, but I cannot do that. I love Anvil Levine. You guys love Anvil Levine. I don't want to lose my gig. Gotta let you guys out.
All right. We totally get it. Thank you so much. You guys have been great, especially you, Gary. The one that gave him the...
Yeah, he's the one that gave you the high five. Yeah, Gary's like, no problem. I mean, in the Feywild, you know how they say it?
No.
No problem, my
No.
druid.
Wow, that's brilliant. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, we gotta go, I guess.
Yep,
And
that's,
so they escort you all out of the Anvil Levine.
Do we pass Anvil Levine?
Yeah.
At any point?
Yes.
When we're passing Anvil
She is
Levine,
helping
Davros.
the old man who's like flat down on the ground currently. She's like helping him up. And he's like, I made this, Ted. Cast it when I was drunk. I can do other spells.
Davern would split off and ask Anvil Levine, so hey, we put out the fire, but I'm pretty concerned there might be more fire hazards in the other dressing rooms. Do you, like, mind if I, like, help look for more fire hazards? I mean, I put out the other fire. I feel like that should, qualify me somewhat. I just want to do this for you because I just totally respect you, and I don't want anything bad to happen to your poor Ted.
So, before this, Jeremy, you had said that if you saw Anvil Levine, you were going to hang back and just hang out with her.
Yeah, essentially.
I'm assuming you're still standing there hanging out with her, and like, as the group's coming back, you're just like, yeah, I've been there, like, yeah. You're just like, and you're just chatting up like old friends, almost.
Good.
Like,
That was
maybe being a pop star celebrity dwarf, she doesn't get a lot of time to be treated as a human. It's more of being an idol. And I feel like your character is just kind of treating him like a normal human. You're just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the whole objective was to become her friend.
Roll me a charisma check with advantage because I think you deserve this.
Let me see. My charisma is 17.
Yeah. You don't know what you said really, to make her like you, but that may just be the fairy dust talking.
Maybe.
You might be talking about fairy dust is probably the thing.
Maybe. I mean, I probably would have asked if you wanted any.
Oh yeah, she hits you up on the fairy dust. You guys are like floating an inch above the ground.
Good.
And you're just having a grand old time, like laughing. She's like, like, you should totally come back after the show for the after party.
Party.
I will definitely take you up on that. And if you need, I can always bring more party favors, my lady.
Well, aren't you just a wonder?
Hold on, you got a little bit in your beard. Let me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Kind of pocket what he pulled out of her beard back into his trench cloak, right next to the stolen T-shirt and socks.
Yeah. And as the rest of the group is being escorted out, you were going to ask her if you could come back. Was that correct, Davin?
No, he was asking her if he could like check out the other dressing rooms because Gary and Jerry said no, but he's gonna ask Anvil and say,
Okay.
I put out the fire for you. Like, I just want to help some more, just to make sure that everything's safe before you go back there.
You look at Anvil and ask this question, and you've never seen a more definite answer when she says, absolutely not. And she goes, I like your friend, but no. That is their private room. I don't want you to see what's going on in there. I don't know what's going on in there. And I don't want to find out. Also, they're wizards, and wizards are weird.
That is true.
True.
And she like helps the old man up as she's saying this. And he's
I mean, fair enough, fair enough.
And he's like,
Pointedly looking at the wizard.
He's like, I'm a wizard. You want to see some magic tricks?
Point in case.
Yeah.
I'd love to see some magic tricks.
Your mustache is a cat. I lied. I don't know that spell.
Davin is definitely laughing at this. He thinks that's really funny.
Now, before we leave, and as we're exiting out and moving from Anvil Levine's presence,
Mm-hmm.
Caden will just, as like nonchalant, like a side note, like, oh, and Miss Levine, I seem to have misplaced something. It's a rather small pick. Have you happened to seen anything in particular that may be out of place in the shape of a pick?
No, I can't say I have. What color pick?
I believe
It's great.
it was Feywild green or something like that. So Feywild.
Well, I'm glad it's Feywild green and not Eldritch green.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. But I do remember. Well, I think I remember that the Grateful Undead seemed to be very into like neon green and eldritch green instruments.
Oh, that's clearly not what we're looking for. But thank you, Mr. Bean, and thank you for your presence. You are the greatest rocker at this band, and you have my vote.
I know. I'll see you later.
Boy.
Boy.
Bye.
Stan gives him a clap on the shoulder as they go out, and he's like, "I'll style your hair, dude."
Good deal.
Hmm.
All right, so when they're out of earshot of the Avril Lavigne crew, Davern would give them the lowdown of, yeah, so nothing in her room. Clearly we didn't get to check. But these Grateful Undead sounds like at least it matches their aesthetic, so they'd be easily hiding it, you know?
Yeah, essentially.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good place to take a quick break.
Yeah,
We
sounds good
will
to me.
be right back in a few minutes. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and thank you for donating, those of you who donated. We appreciate from the bottom of our hearts. See you in a few. welcome back, and thank you for waiting. We will once again resume our show of the Battle of the Bands in Waterdeep. Where last we left our heroes, or I guess roadies is probably the appropriate term for them, they had just infiltrated Anvil Levine's tent at the Battle of the Bands near Waterdeep to locate a missing pick for Chick Jagger, the Kenku bard and lead guitarist, or gibardist, if you're into puns. That was a bad one, I apologize, but it's all I had at the moment. Who had lost his favorite and only lucky pick before the show. That is now starting in 3 hours. The crew have once again gathered outside of Anvil Levine's tent to plan their next move.
Stan rips off his Anvil Levine shirt and balls it up and throws it onto the ground and steps on it.
Is this within sight of Gary and Jerry?
I hope not.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't know, like, you literally were escorted out and going, ah! This farce has gone on long enough!
No, around the corner, he has to rid himself of this heathen crap and, like, rubs his rock and roll amulet for some good luck into,
Butch picks up the discarded t-shirt.
That's not going to fit on you.
It'll fit.
And you're still wearing that giant one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're decked out with Anvil Levine swag, if that's still a word. I'm not sure anymore. I'm assuming it is.
It is.
So you guys have been decked out, and you have now kind of not garnered any more ideas, except for the fact that the Grateful Undead have eldritch colored weapons, or instruments.
They're probably weapons as well,
Probably.
to be fair.
How would
okay,
we want to?
we're heading over towards their tent.
Yeah.
Me and John over.
Yeah, so it's getting a little bit later in the afternoon now, with 3 hours to go before everything goes live. The fairy lights have gone out. The mage kind of working those and getting those into place has kind of moved on to other projects. You do see those canisters that were in Anvil Levine's being loaded in the front of the stage, and like these kind of makeshift trebuchet. I don't want to say a trebuchet, but like firework launchers. Yeah.
Mm.
And they're kind of loading these in one by one in like 3 layers of varying canister sizes. And one of the mages kind of looks at you guys and nods. He like wipes some sweat on his brow. And he's like, casting spells just takes it out of me.
What are those things?
Stan leans over to Zevran and is like, what do you think about sabotaging those? Because we gotta make sure Vrock wins.
Yeah. What's the wizard guy playing with? DM?
What is the wizard guy?
The canisters.
Canister?
Oh,
Just
yes,
canisters?
they are, in the real world, I would say aluminum, but I'm not sure if aluminum is a actual metal that can be...
Aluminum
it's
is
not.
an element.
I'm getting a nod from the engineer that it is not a,
Well, I mean, it
naturally occurring
exists, but they probably wouldn't.
Yeah. So I'll say it's copper. Copper is a reasonable and feasible metal because I know some people are really into realistic stuff. They're copper canisters with like a screw-on cap almost that you saw that they were pouring different color powder in.
Huh.
You're not sure what the powder is for or even what it does, but they're full of this powder and they're kind of cranked shut and being loaded, so just the top that screws on is above level with the stage, only by like maybe like 2 or 3 centimeters.
Those are for Anvil Levine's show. We gotta make sure that she doesn't win.
Let's.
Would one of you like to roll an insight? Any of you that would be working like pyrotechnics or stage lights or something like that, I will allow to roll an insight to see what they do or what they are used for.
Okay, I'll roll that. My insight is garbage, but hey, okay. Where is it? 17.
17. Not bad. So you would recognize these as smoke powder. What they do is they are emitted up from the floor with magical cantrips like Mage Hand. Once they kind of unwind or like uncrank the top, it explodes into the air and disperses over a large area, mixing with the other colors to so that the mages that are supporting them can cast like illusions within the smoke. So it like drifts up on stage, and then you can have like a dragon in the smoke kind of flying around. Or they can blast it into the crowd to have various effects like glitter cannons. Or the like. You would know that just because they're loading these before Anvil Levine doesn't mean that they're all going to be used for Anvil Levine. Some of them may be used for rock and roll. And it may have been just the people that were working on the canisters were doing it from Anvil Levine's tent. Just because you know that you personally didn't load any today.
Okay. Turn back to Stan and go, yeah, that I think is for everyone, not just Anvil. But I am definitely down to think of a way to sabotage. Definitely.
Right. I just thought because it came from her tent.
Yeah. I mean, would I? Is anyone currently with the canisters right now?
No one is near him right now.
Can I try to mage hand and just kind of grab one of the canisters?
So okay, yeah. So are you trying to like blast it off, or are you trying to just lift it out and like bring it over to you?
Yeah. I wanna pocket it.
Okay, yeah. Roll me. I mean, I want to say sleight of hand, but I know it's a magical cantrip. But the reason I want a sleight of hand is just because it's gonna require some finesse in having it not blow up.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Or if you wanted to roll maybe like a Arcana check because it is a spell. I'll leave it up to you.
I'll do sleight of hand because I got a bigger bonus there.
Okay.
Okay. 24.
24. Yeah. So you've handled these a lot. I don't know how long Zevran has been with rock and roll, but you've used these a lot. Maybe not for the illusion portion, but you have set them up, you have loaded them, you have done the drudge work in making these babies. So you know exactly like the pressure points. You know that by squeezing the side of the canister, you can successfully move it out of the loading dock, and you kind of get it to you before anyone is looking. And since it's only one missing, you're sure someone's going to replace it anyways. But now you have a freebie.
Okay. Is it the kind of thing like when you say that they activate it? Is it like there's something that activates in the can, or do they like open it and then like do some stuff with it?
Yeah, it's kind of like pressure related. So like you compress all of the chalk in, and then with magic push it down past its capacity, and then screw it on. So once it opens to a degree or has enough give, it all explodes out.
Okay. If it's safe to do so, I would just like to open it and just see what color powder's in there.
So you would know that if you do like start uncapping it, it would explode.
Okay. No, I'm gonna just pocket that.
And it would, if we're talking like mechanically, if you were to open it and have it pointed at someone, it would be a 40-foot cone of whatever color or glitter or what have you.
Okay.
And mechanically combat speaking, if it's like used in combat, it serves to blind people.
Cool. One free blind cone. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So as you guys are walking down to Grateful Undead's tent, it's easy to spot. The tent itself is black with like eldritch light neon green streaks going up like lightning all the way to the top post. Shatter Kai is sitting outside like in a chair, kind of like reading a magazine. He has dark dreadlocks with like tinges of white at the end and lavender eyes, and he's just kind of reading. He doesn't give you any notice whatsoever. He looks fairly young for elf standards. As you approach, would anyone say anything or?
As we're going closer, before we actually talk to him, Butch is going to speak up. He's like, "All right, guys, be careful around here, because these undead heads, they're unpredictable."
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How would we want to approach this? Where would we even think that the green thing would be?
I don't know.
Well, I can't locate it with a spell because it was behind some sort of impenetrable wall of magic.
Hmm.
I have these. Hey guys, I have these really cool bracelets that I made that are like they're mood bracelets that glow. Do you think? I think deadheads would like that. What do you think?
Yeah, it probably matches with their whole. And I kind of just gesture to the green neon crap.
Definitely. Make sure you pull out all your green ones.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. We'll see if we can solicit some sales.
Cool. So I grab my bag and I pull out all of the green mood bracelets, but they match your mood. But I have, because I'm not wearing them, I can set them to green. I'm holding them all out, and at this point, you can see just how ghostly white I am. I am extremely light-colored human, and I practically glow in the dark myself. Okay.
All right, so we approach,
Yeah,
and Davern sort of gives like an up nod to like the Shatterkai as they approach the entrance, and are like, "Do we?" And like just sort of motions like, "Do we have to talk to you, or can we like just go in, but without words?" Very casual.
With a lazy kind of shuts his magazine, looks you guys all over. I don't care, man. Like, go in or whatever.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm just sitting here.
Nice.
Like, dude said he'd be back, and it's been like 2 years.
Toss this guy a bracelet. He looks like he needs one.
Here you go. Enjoy. And it's a mood bracelet too.
He
so
puts it on, it's just black. Like, all the way around, he's like,
Metal.
life is meaningless. uh, go on, and I guess thanks. Or yeah. Like, if you see Billy, tell him I still have his seat, and like he can come out and like take it back whenever.
Gotcha, fam.
He's probably just taking a shit. Don't worry, we'll find him for you.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, like it's only been like 2 years or whatever. No
Yeah,
biggie.
it's not good to rush things.
Yeah. Well, like go in.
Yeah, Davern would have already like been in it.
Yeah, he like opens up his magazine and goes back to reading like nothing happened. And
What kind of magazine is it?
It's called 10 Shades of Black: How to Look Best, Living Your Best Unlife.
Amazing.
And he was just like, yeah, oh, yeah.
Nice
Cool.
self-help magazine there.
Yeah.
Cute.
He's dressed all in black, just head to toe, pale skin. So you guys head inside, and the interior of the tent itself is a raised stage and like a circus tent kind of around it almost, and green eldritch. I use that word. I need to use a different word for a description. Let's go with ethereal lights of pale green, like moonlight through a fog over a swamp. Float around the rooms. There's like 9 of them just floating, and they're circular in appearance, and they're kind of all rotating around the same. And there's like a raised stage, and it looks like they're going through like performance kind of prep, because you see like a manager there. He's gaunt, skinny. You can't really tell what species he is, but he's facing away from you, and you see like the stage rise, and you hear like a howl, like, "Oh, are you ready to rock?" And they just go, "Are you ready to hear fire in the mountain?" and like you hear like a guitar like dun 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 dun, like thaumaturgy all across the room, and they go with a new guest appearance, Lich Astley. And you see like all 5 of them, like a drummer holding 2 bone made drumsticks comes up and is like nail it on the guitar set, and the 2 guitarists, the bass guitarist and the electric lutist, both are like strumming as like the stage lifts up, and they're all pale white skinned, dark haired, eyes kind of cold, heavy makeup, and the lead singer is indeed a lich, or at least appears to be so. And he has motley robes falling apart, skeletal fingers like wrap around this microphone that's thaumaturgied, and he starts like flailing his head, and like you see like some gray, decrepit, like dead hair just like flying with his skull, and he's just like, yeah! And he doesn't seem to notice you at the moment. And like you see like 4 or 5 skeletons just rise up as they start riffing. Yes, Davern.
As this is all going on, can I roll to notice if any of the guitarists appear to have an Eldritch Green pick that looks like Chick Jagger?
Yeah, roll me a perception check, and everyone tell me what your passive perception is, and you may roll as well, because I think all of you are looking for this pick, so it's reasonable.
My passive is 10, and I rolled a 9.
Passive is 10, you roll. Okay.
Are we all rolling, or
Yes.
just? Oh, okay.
Anyone that thinks their character would be actively looking at anyone on the stage.
Yeah, probably. And your passive is 10 plus your perception, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 10, and my passive is 13.
Okay.
My passive is a 13, and I rolled a 20. Not natural.
Nice. Not a dirty 20 then.
Yeah, dirty 20.
Yeah. So you do notice, Caden, a green pick that fits the description. However, you don't see a skull on it, but it could be facing away from you as it's being strummed on the guitar by one of like the skeletons that just kind of rose up from the stage.
I'll relay all that to the rest of the group very quietly, believing that I noticed what I noticed.
Okay. Target acquired. Maybe.
Target acquired. Got this.
Zyron and Davern do a secret handshake.
Yeah, basically.
Are you guys approaching? What you guys tell me what you're doing.
Did you said the lights that are floating, they're flames, fires?
Yeah, they're like ethereal greenish blue circles of light. Upon closer look, they are definitely appearing more and more like skulls that are on fire.
Oh.
Okay. So their manager that's standing nearby. Okay. So Stan is gonna cast a fuck. What's it called? Sorry.
Gonna cast fuck.
Yeah.
Ha!
Thaumaturgy. Sorry. And make the lights kind of like flicker, like they're not quite, like the spell's not holding up. And then he's going over to the manager and he's like tapping him on the shoulder and he's like, whoa, are those are your lights not working? Like, who's in charge of that?
I'm gonna cast Control Flames and fuck with it even further, just to.
Okay. So you guys are all like screwing with their lighting, like as they're doing like stage rehearsal. I love it. So you guys, as you're walking towards this, who's in the lead?
Who's gonna lead the conversation?
Well, I want like the first 3 of you that are like walking towards them who are in the lead.
Stan was gonna mess with it and go up and tap.
Stan, Zevran. Oh, one more.
Caden will go.
Okay. That's the 3.
Davern's
So
in the
you
back.
3 will be the ones rolling skill checks.
Cool beans.
As you guys kind of roll up on this guy, he turns around and like he stops at the lights before you guys even like tap him on the shoulder, and he's like, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I thought you were the Grateful Dead undead. Instead, you're like the turned undead. What I see that riff? I could have riffed better than that on my third life. I've been reincarnated 7 times." And like, Lich Astley is just like, except he doesn't breathe because he's a lich. And you just see him like, he's like, "Oh my god, I have to look forward to this for my entire unlife." And like, then all the eyes of like the skeletons like in tandem look at you guys, like, and then their bodies kind of turn to match their head. And he like looks, and he's like, "What do you want? Here I am trying to get everything right, and like, lights don't work, songs don't match. I mean, given he doesn't have lungs, so singing's pretty hard, but like..."
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a special effects expert, if you will. I think maybe I could help kind of fix this, per se, and I'll try to undo the control of flames so it kind of goes back to normal a little bit. And be like, see, here you go.
Alright, okay,
Easy
yeah,
fix.
yeah. Look at that! I haven't seen anyone cast a spell like that to fix a problem as fast as you since the spell plague.
Happy to help.
Davrin, like, visibly chokes in the back.
Stan just starts clapping for Zevran, like, "Wow, that was fantastic!"
The
Yeah.
skeletons like all go to bow, and like one of their heads falls off and just like rolls, and like you see his body like drop the guitar that's holding the pick, and like go to find his head and like go pick it up, leaving
Is the pick near the guitar?
and the pick like on the stage.
Davrin dashes to pick it up because he cares about that guitar. Okay, he's like, you don't just drop these things.
Butch is
And
gonna pick up
would
the
try
head.
to sleight of hand that pick.
Okay, so Butch grabs this head. How hard are you grabbing this head? Are you like crushing this in your hand, or are you like?
Or
No, he's not crushing it, but he's just trying to play keep away with the skeleton for a minute.
The skeleton. Roll an intimidate. Actually, I think
Okay.
this is a good time for you to roll.
23.
23. You play keep away. You actually rope one of the other skeletons into play keep away, and like you and one of the skeletons on stage, like the skeleton just like clack 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 clack, and like snaps its fingers down. And, like you toss the skull, it catches it, and it's like, and then like, toss it back to you, and they're like running back and forth, and the skeleton is like losing rib bones every like trip. So it's like losing more and more bones, and, like falling apart.
Monkey in the middle, basically.
Over here, Bones.
Yeah, Emily's gonna go out and try to help assemble the skeleton that's a bit.
Yeah, so
like,
you got like a handful
collecting
of
the
rib bones, and like
yeah.
their scapula has like fallen off. Roll me like a medicine check to like identify where these bones even would go.
Medicine check.
I secretly hope this is a really low roll, so we end up with a really bad-looking skeleton.
Yeah.
Did it go?
In the meantime, I'm gonna go over to Davrin and just try to help, but mostly like body block.
Yeah, so 15, you fool around with the Skelly boy. Skelly boy. Yeah. And you do an alright job. Like, not all the bones are in place, but it doesn't look terrible. But like definitely the bones don't all like if someone was like a skilled practitioner of medicine, they would know like, that's the tibia and the fibula are like switched around. Or like, where's
Some
the
ribs are
patella?
out of order.
Yeah, you put like the patella like on their like the front of their chest, so they now can only lift their arms like this.
I'm a little embarrassed, as you know. I'm a little so I tried to hide what I did into my bag, and I.
Oh no, you
look
look
great.
Yeah, it gives like a bony thumbs up. and like catches its head as it's flying midair, and like its like jaw like opens all the way down, and just like walks back. And what was the rest of the party doing as everyone else was messing with this poor Skelly boy?
So Davern had jumped forward to pick up the guitar and make sure it was okay, sleight of handing the pick.
Roll your sleight of hand.
And I got me a 17.
17. Let's
Okay.
see. You pocket it. You aren't able to get a good look at it, but you do pocket it.
Exactly.
And like
This is
you kind of like
investigating-
hold the guitar and like hand it back to the skeleton as it like walks back to the stage.
Yeah, he checked it over, like visibly. Someone who looks like they know a lot about instruments. He checks over, makes sure the bridge is in place and that it's didn't just fall out of tune or like the strings are okay, and then he carefully hands it back.
Yeah. It takes it, strums it once with like its limited mobility. Now it's like, and then like walks back to the stage, and just stands there unmoving, waiting to be like controlled and told what to do. And the drummer just like looks at you guys and then like kicks his feet up on the drum set, doesn't really care one way or the other. And the manager like looks at all of you and goes, "Now, 2 questions. One, how did you know how to fix the lights? And 2, what the heck are you doing in my tent? Where the heck is Billy? Should have been keeping you riffraff out."
I did not see any Billy, and I've kind of stalk random bands sometimes, and sometimes you learn things like special effects and fire and colors and things.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Glad you understand.
By the way, Billy's missing.
What?
Just so you know.
Oh yeah.
As he's like saying that, the skeleton that was playing keep away with Butch walks past the manager to like go to the stage, and like it like goes like thumbs up and like looks at him for a second, and he goes, "Oh, not now, Billy," and like Billy and the skeleton just goes back to the stage. He's like, "Anyway, enough about Billy. I don't know where he is, or at least I can't prove where I know where he is. So, anything I can help you with? Or are you just looking for a free show? Because if that's the case, then you're gonna have to buy some merchandise."
Well, we're always looking for merchandise.
Don't exist.
Yeah, we're always looking for merchandise.
Well, I've got skeleton keys. I've got. I think that was my only like pun. I've got shirts. I've got towels. I've got paint.
Got any sets of knuckle bones?
Yes.
You really need, though, you need someone to sell your merchandise, and I've got
Yeah.
experience. So because I see that you're having a little trouble here, but I'm an expert merchandiser. I would love to run your table. So if you would like show me, and like I will work for you for free, dude.
Is this a deception or a persuasion? Are you trying to deceive him, or are you trying to convince him to actually do this? Like, how sincere are you about this? Is I guess my question.
I'm gonna say like deception.
Okay.
Because I'm
And you're wearing this rock and roll, like, yeah, okay.
You want me to roll?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Good thing I have advantage. Okay, that is a 17.
17, not bad. Let's see. He looks at you for a second, looks down to your tabard, looks up to you, looks down at your tabard, looks up at you, and he goes, "Now, I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to get out of my tent before I start casting spells." 1,
Davern's about facing at this
Two.
point, going by.
3.
Bye. You may want to save your energy fixing those lights.
Stan turns and runs.
What do the rest of you guys do?
I follow. I'm outie.
Audi 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, Davern was out as soon as he started listing the threat. It was like,
Yeah.
hold on, farewell.
Same.
Yeah, like you guys go bustling out, and the shadow guy at the front just goes, "Hey, see Billy?
Yeah, he's
He was coming."
tried to. He's practicing. You should go check it out.
Oh, cool.
He said he had a bone to pick with you.
Oh, classic Billy. All right. He just goes back to his book.
So Davern slides up next to Zevran as they create that body shield
Yep,
of what he's doing as he pulls out the pick to look at it, and it's like, you think this is the thing?
What you got? What you got? Yeah, let's take a look at it. Is it the pick?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Which one of us?
I'm gonna say you, since you actually have Arcana.
Yeah, it makes sense.
15?
It does, in fact, have a skull on it. However, it is only half of a skull. And it looks like someone has, like, cracked the pick almost. Like, it was attached on top of the pick, and they kind of, like, cracked it enough, and, like, part of it flecked off. So the other half is still missing. But you can be fairly certain that this, at least partially, is Chick Jagger's pick, to a degree.
Okay. Good find. Good
Do
shit.
you think the rest
Kevin.
of it's in there?
Would that spell work that you used earlier?
Oh yeah, maybe see if you can detect the other half. Well, maybe you don't want to waste some magic if it's going to be blocked anyways.
Well, but this could have been the one that was blocked, so I guess. You want me to try again?
Yeah, let's try it again.
Yeah, let's see.
Like, I don't know, a focus.
Someone who's not casting a spell, roll me a perception check. Only one of you.
I just rolled a. Sorry, a 16.
Butch, you're usually not the most observant person, but you have been known to give an ocular pat down as head of security. You're pretty good at sizing someone up. As she's casting her spell, you see Sariel, or as you know her, that skinny elf, walking away from the tent of Rock and Roll with a briefcase in hand.
Hey, elf. What are you doing?
My job?
Okay, keep doing that.
Oh, okay. Have you had any luck finding the pick?
Yes.
You have. Where was it?
Do the rest of us hear this conversation going on?
Oh yeah.
Skeletons had it.
I knew they had a bone to pick with us. Well, do you want to hand it over to me? I'll bring it back to Chick Jagger.
But I thought you were busy doing your job.
I mean,
right.
Which is what, by the way? I keep forgetting.
Oh, my job. Well, as you know, I've been with the band since pretty much forever. So I wear a lot of hats.
You really only need one hat.
And you're not wearing any hats right now.
Yeah,
I feel important to point out.
A single hat on you.
You have me there. Ha ha ha! 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 That
Pretty
wasn't
much.
funny. But I mean, I do everything almost.
Do you keep your hats in that briefcase?
You do not do everything. Like, he runs security, and I sell the merchandise, and Davrin does something, and Zavrin's good with pyrotechnics, and she's their PA. So you do not do everything, and that is really insulting.
Plus, you're not even wearing a hat.
Well, I didn't know it was everything someone says is a personal attack day.
Well,
let me
that's today,
try.
okay?
Let me try. Your god is a lie. You steal things. At least I'm fairly certain.
Can't
Yeah,
prove
but-
anything.
My god is not a lie.
If you had been doing security, it wouldn't have been stolen in the first place.
It would if it was someone inside the tent. Davin just stares at Sariel.
Sariel just
accusingly.
stares right back at you and is just like,
Well, let's not get too bent out of shape about who does what. But I am super curious about those hats in your briefcase. If you wanted to like share with us, and we can talk about like our look for a little while, and I'm gonna cast Charm Person on them.
okay. So it is a wisdom save, correct, or is it intelligence?
I think it's Wisdom.
And if they succeed, they know you were casting it, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and she is an elf, so she has advantage against charm.
What?
Elves, innate. Wow, double 19. You
No,
cast. So, how do I want to phrase it? I think you cast your spell and just immediately she just looks at you and like narrows her eyes. And for the briefest moment, you feel scared for your life.
I do.
Like, not that she's necessarily threatening you, but the fact that she resisted like your powers. Not many people resist your spells, but you feel like for like almost a hint of bloodlust, like that she could be capable of killing you without any remorse. Yes.
I am curious, does the briefcase feel magical? Like, would
mean,
someone with an Arcana check be able to tell if the briefcase is magical?
I would say someone that has spent like an hour with it, or like cast Identify on it, could know if it was
Gotcha.
magical. But
Okay,
I
I'll
don't
be right
think
back.
it's something you'd innately.
What's it made out of?
Yeah. It has a mahogany handle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a dark black briefcase / suitcase. It's very slim. Probably couldn't contain more than like maybe 3 sets of clothes.
Does it look like it has like a lock being made,
Yes.
like a lock on it?
Does. Yeah, it does have a single lock on the top.
Just like a simple lock, or does it look like something really intricate? Or
I'd say a simple lock. I don't think it's necessarily like top of the line locks, but it is enough to kind of. I mean, it can be smashed open. It's a briefcase,
okay.
but like,
Can I go?
yeah.
Okay, so Stan kind of rolls his shoulders back and wads up some spit and like spits down on the ground, or rather, no, spits on his hand. And he's like, "In the name of rock and roll, take that chick out." And he like slaps his hand on Butch's shoulder, and he's like, "Go get her, Butch!" And he's blessing you guys.
Oh.
Ooh.
So you and Zevran and Jeremy's character.
Caden.
As soon as Stan does that to bless us, and now we know the conflict's out in the open, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop the like color spray thing like point blank right in front of him.
Okay. So you're popping it in a 40-foot cone right at her. I'm assuming. Okay, that's fair. So I'm gonna have her make a dex save.
Okay.
And it is a dex save 15. So let's see. It hits her full force in the face. We're talking like straight in the eyes. This golden glitter-filled powder just. And she lets out a shriek, a unearthly shriek, as she is covered. And as she lets out this shriek, it almost, I'm not going to say almost, I'm going to say it is unnatural. And she begins to grow, and like bony, large wings erupt from her back. They're dark blue. They are riddled with feathers that are mottled and kind of cobalt steelic. Her neck pops out unnaturally and extends into a vulture's beak with teeth. Her arms jut out of her shoulder sockets and elongate into claws. Her legs extend unnaturally and dig into the ground as talons kind of dig in, and before you is a demon from the
chicken.
abyss.
It's rock.
A giant vulture-like being.
Is that a rock?
No, it's a giant chicken.
Okay.
I mean,
It's a spicy chicken.
I let my monster self-identify.
Okay.
I'm
I'm glad you're
pigeonhole this, if you will.
Alright, so pause 1 second. What happened with the briefcase? Where is it? What
The
happened?
briefcase has been dropped right below her.
I want to run and snatch it.
Yeah,
During
yeah.
her crazy magical transformation.
We are going to roll initiative, is what we're gonna do.
Gotcha.
Okay. Do you want us to just throw out numbers, or do you go in order?
Yeah, just throw out your numbers. I will manage it.
Okay.
16.
I also got a 16.
17.
Riley can go before me.
Okay.
I got 13.
Okay. And a 7 for Amy. And then I know Jeremy's having some technical issues, so I will do his turn when I do the opponent's turn. That seems fair to me, at the very least.
Okay.
So, Kari, start us off. You were going to go for the briefcase.
Yes.
All right. Roll me a. I guess sleight of hand would probably be the appropriate skill to kind of grab this and run.
Yeah. Aw, yeah. I rolled a raw 17 plus 4, so 21.
You grab this. The cloud of smoke is still in the air in this 40-foot cone. It stings your eyes, but you're able to grab this briefcase and you go to move. Are you moving away?
I would take the dodge action.
So the action itself would be grabbing the briefcase, though.
Okay. Then yeah, I would attempt to be moving backwards, like not turning away from the rock, but just backpedal. With the briefcase as a shield.
Okay, let me make that attack. Does a 23 hit you?
Sure does.
Okay. You take 6 damage as a claw careens off of the briefcase's outer side, dragging with nails on a chalkboard, like a, and you block it, but it digs into your the back of your arm that's holding it.
Very out.
Very ow. Much hurt, big wow. In that order. Next in the order is good old Riley.
I'm gonna start by using my bonus action to rage.
As
Nice.
one does.
And he playing the drums on his chest and getting very angry.
Yes.
And Butch is going to cast Earth Tremor, which everybody's got to make a DC 12 dexterity check or fall prone and take 1d6 damage.
Well, it fails.
His spell fails?
No, the rock fails their check.
Aha. Good. He did say everyone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody.
Yes, everyone, and I think it's like a 10-foot radius.
Yeah, Dabber made it.
It was dexterity, right?
Yep.
16.
Dexterity. Yeah.
So the rock falls prone and takes 1d6 damage, so I'll roll
Yep.
that.
And that's bludgeoning, right?
Yep, 3 damage.
All right, halve to 1. Sorry, 2. I'll halve it up.
But it fell over.
But it did fall over. Attacks have advantage on it.
Oh no, Emily fell down.
Oh.
Poor Emily. Next is
Sorry,
Nithmar. Or Pharaoh.
Yo. So, all right. Stan pulls out his crossbow. I guess it needs to be loaded, doesn't it? And loads his crossbow. And he's like, "Go get her!" Ah! He's like he's shouting inspiring things, I guess.
That's fair.
And Zevran and you guys have plus 1d4 whenever you roll attack, I think.
Oh, that's right. Bless. Amazing.
All right. And next up is... And I typed this in. I typed in wrong. So 15 would be Caden. Who is having technical difficulties. I will roll for him because I am nice like that. And he does hit for 10 damage as he lashes out with his blade, striking it. It's halved, but still hurts it as he like cuts a gouge in its wing as it flails about. And that brings us to Jan.
All right. I have advantage on it because it's prone, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and strike it with my longsword.
Okay.
With advantage. Where are all these numbers all of a sudden? 16 to hit?
That will hit.
Okay, and I get my sneak attack plus d8. So... 5, 7... 14 points of slashing damage.
Very nice.
And with my bonus action, I'm going to go ahead and just point blank shoot with the crossbow.
Is someone's phone on?
Hello?
Because they're prone, I think I rolled with disadvantage for the crossbow, right?
Yes.
Technically. Rough. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 6 to hit.
Yeah, that will, unfortunately, you shoot the ground right next to it as it like kind of rolls over to the side to get back up.
Crap.
And then we have the Vrock. As the Vrock uses its movement, or half its movement, to stand up, it is then going to take a swipe at Butch Tusks. Does a 17 hit?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So it lashes out with its beak for 7 damage.
Half because I'm raging.
Half because you're raging, so we'll round down. So 3.
Nice.
As it like digs its beak into your shoulder where you've been drumming. It's not your drumming shoulder though. And it uses the rest of its movement to move closer to Davrin and the briefcase.
Hmm.
That brings us to Amy.
All right, I'm gonna go at Sariel with my great sword,
All right.
I'm good.
A 22 will hit.
and I'm gonna use my action surge.
24 will hit. For a total of 23 damage. Halved, so 12 damage.
And that'll
As
be it for me.
you like bring your greatsword down and like one of its wings is almost cleaved down the center of it. You hear like the crunching of, I don't know if wings are cartilage or not, so I mean you just heard it real bad. It's like ah! And
Awesome.
that brings us to the top of the order, I believe. The Brock
Alright.
is looking bloodied.
Cool. So what Davern does is first he casts Healing Word on himself and manages to regain all his health. And then he casts Invisibility, also on himself.
Very nice.
That's it.
Okay. That brings us to good old Mr. Man, I should save these. Mr. Riley. Butch Tusks.
Okay, I am going to swing my great club at the giant chicken. That's a 14.
A 14 will unfortunately miss.
All right,
Your club kind of just like hits against its hide.
and I'm going to use my bonus action to inspire. Who had the briefcase?
Davrin.
Yeah.
I'm going to inspire Devrin by playing the drum, I guess. And that'll be my turn.
Okay.
So you get a 1d6 to add to a roll.
Riley, you did have Bless on you for that attack. If you want to roll 1d4, you can add
Oh, I
it.
do. Yeah, I forgot about Bless.
I'm sorry, I should have
Added 1, so it's a 15.
That will hit.
Nice.
Roll me that damage.
All right. 1d8 plus 3. I haven't rolled real dice. I just rolled it right off the table. Hey, it's an 8.
Nice.
11. 11 damage.
All right,
Nice.
halved to 6. Yeah, because we're rounding up. Yeah, you feel the crunch. You hit it right at the joint where the kind of wings kind of sprout from its back, and you just hear the sickening crunch from its left wing, and it just like droops. Useless. Next will be Nifnor or Pharaoh.
Yo. So first of all, Stan will take his crossbow up and aim it towards the Brock's head and let loose a bolt. And I rolled a 16 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, for 9 damage.
All right, you sink your weapon into them, and they are not looking great.
Okay, so and then for on the downside of that, a bonus action, Stan will shout, "Take that thing and run!" And he casts a Sanctuary on Davrin.
Davern is super happy that everyone understands his initial inclination is to run away. And that they're being so supportive.
That's fine. Yeah. So, Davrin, were you running away on your turn, or you cast invisibility and then?
I was going to use my movement to get as far away as possible if I still had movement.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so he had cast invisibility and then moved away.
Perfect. Are you moving towards the rock and roll tent?
I presume he believes that to be safety, so yes.
Okay. it'll take you 2 turns to get there.
Okay.
Next in line is the Vrock, I think, yes. Which swipes at Davrin and misses as he's invisible. And that brings it to Jam. Jam,
Me?
Sariel is not looking great.
No.
No.
Well, hopefully they're about to look worse. Do you do flanking bonus?
Yeah, I'll say with like 3 of you wailing on this creature, that flanking would count. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just longsword again. That is a 25 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
That'll be another good old sneak attack.
All right.
12. 21 points of slashing damage, please.
How do you do this, Jam?
Well, I see the winged creature making its way towards Davrin and the suitcase, and I'm just going to run up towards it and try to do like a slide under kind of thing as I just like longsword under, and then like I get up and like rip it up so it just like goes up the creature.
Yeah. This creature has magical hide, but like you feel your blade tear all the way up the chest, and the beast just collapses. Black
Nice.
Icarish blood leaking in a fetid pool of, like, you know how like swamps kind of have that smell, like kind of like mulchy. That smell just fills the air.
Ugh.
What? I don't know. Something
There's
gone.
Giant Chicken Zero, us too.
Next time, I'll get you kids. And about this time that like you guys kind of all gather your breath, Davrin, you've reached the band, and good old Chick Jagger looks at you. He's dressed up for the performance in his outfit. He's pacing back and forth. Need the pick. Need the pick. No show. Lost.
Panting and distressed, Davern, I guess, drops his invisibility once he's in the tent and is bleeding, has a damaged briefcase clutched to his chest, but he's holding out his other hand with the semi-damaged pick and says, "Sorry, Sally, or whatever her name is a demon. Here's what we found." And just leaves it at that.
Yeah, so are you handing the briefcase over to him?
Not the briefcase, the pick that they had found at like the zombie tent.
Okay.
Because he hasn't opened the briefcase yet, but then he would set the briefcase down and open it to figure out what the heck is even in here.
So as you go to open it, it is locked, and Chick Jagger holds the pick, goes, and then goes over to the briefcase, pulls out a key from their own pocket, and just unlocks it, opens it, and the other like piece of the key or the pick is there. And he just goes, and like holds it together, and you see like a ethereal green light kind of emit from it as almost magically the pick seals back together. And Chick Jagger like goes, "Rock! Deal was made! Rock and roll forever!"
What? Huh? What
And
deal?
as it's a Kenku, it can only repeat things it's heard, and you get no explanation. But as this is sealed, the rest of the group sees Sariel transform back into that elven form and heal up almost as good as new. Brush herself off, and she goes, "Well, I was hoping to get out of the Covenant, but rock and roll forever."
Wow.
And with very little explanation, she just walks back to the tent dejectedly. And the rest of the day, the last hour or so before the performance goes without a hitch, I'd like you guys all to kind of give a brief, like, explanation of what you're doing during the concert. Like, now that you've saved this, you got the night off.
Mm-hmm.
It'll also let any of you roll an Arcana check if you want to.
Butch
Like,
went to
solve the
the
mystery.
Anvil Levine concert and moshed hard.
You moshed so hard that 23 elves were thrown around by you.
Amazing.
So Davrin did want to make the Arcana check, and it was a 21.
Okay. The pick is part of a covenant that the band probably made with a devil, in which a devil was bound to this pick as the covenant that gives Chick Jagger his awesome rock moves.
Because Chick Jagger's a warlock. Got it. Cool.
Chick Jagger's a warlock.
After putting this knowledge together, Davrin immediately gives up watching any music or supporting any bands and goes to Caden and asks for as much fairy dust as he is willing to share.
Caden, what do you do with your night? Huh, for some reason I can't pick it up. That's weird. If you want to type it, I'll say it. Yeah, I don't know why the mic's doing that. That's weird.
Hmm.
But I can see you. Sound out. One word, 2 words? Fairy dust? Thumbs up?
Safe to assume lots of fairy dust is consumed.
Alright. I think we see Caden and Anvil Levine backstage after the concert. They're both floating. Yeah, they're both floating above the ground, laughing, having a great time. They're sitting on the edge of the stage. It's like 3 a.m, and they're passing back a flask back and forth, and she's just like, well, this was nice. You should come with me on my next concert. That's where we'll leave him. Next would be Pharaoh.
Stan doesn't want the day off. He wants to evangelize the band and sell as much merchandise as he possibly can, and he will shout louder than the other band's merchandisers, and he will do better. And it's his own personal covenant with the band. He believes in them so much.
So devout.
So devout. Jan.
Zevran probably spends the rest of the night with those little color spray cans, finding them very neat, and just kind of probably like steals a good case, like finds a corner like next to the stage, and just kind of like mage hand slings them in the air, just kind of crossbow shoots them, just kind of like over and over, just peppers everyone like it's some color run event.
Yeah. All of the fans who stayed up past the show could swear that it wasn't the fairy dust in the air, but just above the forest, right off the concert site, the forests were alight with glittering gold, reverent reds, and sunbursts of orange in the air that seemed to illuminate the night sky.
Nice.
Amy.
So Emily is gonna go to that undead concert and picks up a little bit of the fairy dust so that she can fly, and covers her entire body in the glow bracelet, arms and legs in the air, looking super cool. Yeah, girl.
Sounds like a good night. And last, Butch. Oh, Mosh Pit. You were the first.
Yeah, 23 elves.
Yeah, and a wonderful night was had by all. And in the morning, who had to pick up all of the trash, all of the smoke canisters, and all of the blood that they spilled was the roadies. For a roadie's job never truly ends. And one could say this is just the beginning of their story.
Worth it.
Very.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. It has been a delight to have you watching. Thank you for watching this one shot, and it's been a great time. Make sure that you, if you can, donate to the Extra Life. It supports children's hospitals, and it is a very, very good charity to give to. It benefits a lot of people who truly need the help. Once again, I am Graham, or Graham Crackers Online, or GrahamHall802 at twitter.com. You can find me here every Saturday, usually, from 11 to 2, as Taslin Evrio on the Half Right Heroes show. And let's take it away, Riley.
I'm Riley, and you can't really find me anywhere, so I'm around.
Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy. Same deal, but hey, I'm out and about. You might see me around somewhere. I don't know. So hey.
And Jan?
I make efforts not to be found, but I may be found on here again making more mischief, so stay tuned for that.
Awesome. And Pharaoh?
Hey, I'm Pharaoh, and I'm really glad to have done this today. This was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all.
And Kari?
Hi, I too also make stringent efforts not to be found, but if you must find me, you'll find me on Graham Cracker's channel on Fridays doing Monster of the Week and jazz like that.
I'm there too. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, almost all of them occasionally I'll stream our Monster of the Week hijinks. And last but not least, he's having technical issues, but Jeremy was playing Caden Single Dance, and we are very glad to have him. He cannot be found anywhere except for when he plays Monster of the Week on Graham Cracker's channel occasionally. And thank you for joining us, and I guess we will hand it off to the next show. Please stay tuned. I know we'll be in the chat watching.